Well, this is a video that you're going to want to watch because
Aren't they all?
Well, this one's even more so because we've dealt with this a lot. I'm sure many of you have. The reason why we're doing this video is because we truly think some people are unaware, and hopefully this will kind of help alleviate this problem.
So in today's video, we're going to talk about the biggest complaints that RV park hosts get from campers. And you probably already go, oh yeah, I know which ones they're going to say. Yeah, they have to deal with a lot. There's a lot of complainers, but there's a lot of people that are just not doing what they're supposed to do. So we're going to focus on that.
Before we get into this video, two things. Make sure you're subscribed, notification bell's on. Even if you've been unsubscribed, just take a moment and check just in case you've been unsubscribed. Also, you have about 30 days left if you want the RVing and the USA merchandise, and we're in the embroidered hat. We also have shirts, hoodies, sweatpants, as well as our other merchandise, but our company that we're using will no longer be selling the merchandise after December 31st. It's a limited time. We'll put the link down below.
So we found this topic from rvtravel.com. We love rvtravel.com. There's always such great articles and things to kind of ponder on, and this is definitely one of them. So the first one, guys, and I'm sure you've all experienced this, is that people complain to the office that the restrooms are dirty, restrooms or facilities. We have seen this many times, but there is one that stands out in our mind from probably about a year ago. It was a campground in New York, upstate New York. Navasink. Oh my God. I mean, it was like I almost wanted to vomit when I walked into that. We couldn't believe what it looked like. So this goes for any of the facilities, the laundry facilities, things like that. You want to make sure, like if you're showering, don't get the water all over the floor. Don't leave gobs of hair. Oh, I can't stand gobs of hair in the shower. And I always clean my hair up if like we're at home. I always pick up hair if there's hair in the shower. It skeeves me out. Toilet paper on the floor. I see you want to add to that.
Yeah, just don't live like a zoo animal, right? Like clean up after you. It's such a simple thing.
It is.
Because although people do clean, if you make a mess in the toilet, like it shouldn't be spread all over the stall.
This isn't in a campground, but do you remember that time we went into a Walmart, and I think it was in New Jersey, and I came out and I guys, trigger warning, if you get grossed out, just skip ahead like 10 seconds. There was literal poop all over the wall. Like you had just kind of...
Right. And you have to wonder, like...
How does that happen?
Were you raised by wolves?
But how does that happen? Like, how do you do that?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Like physically, how does that happen?
Right. So I can understand if maybe there's dirt on the floor, but you should flush the toilet. Like these are just things you should know by like 3 years old. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't know that. That's why we're doing this video.
Right. And what I do want to say, if you are an RV park host, and I'm sure there are many of you out there, let us know. Start putting in the comments below, guys. Do you agree with these as we go through them? What else have you seen?
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot.
How difficult is it to be a park host?
All right, let's talk about number 4 now. The last one, really a lot of it had to do with RVers. This one's not so much. This is more of the maintenance, the RV park itself. Number 4 is going to be my RV site is not level and it's too muddy. Now, depending where you're at, you might have a muddy site. If you're at a state campground, a lot of times they are not graveled out, they have dirt. However, if you are going to market a place as an RV park to go to, the site should be relatively level. Now, of course, they're not gonna be perfectly level. They can't be perfectly level. They have to be pitched for drainage, whatever. But we were at one specific RV, and this was a private campground. We were off by, I believe, 18 inches.
That was Woodland Trails, I think, in New Jersey.
We'll never go back there again. That's inexcusable, and I can see that being we don't come by this too often. We don't find this, but we want your feedback. Have you been at some of these campgrounds that are just really off? But yeah, that's number 4.
The next one will not come as a surprise. How many of you have gone to a park host and said, I can't deal with all these barking dogs? Now, barking dogs is huge. Now
it's every trip.
It is every trip.
Much.
And there's all different types of barking dogs. So let's talk about this. There's dogs that are tied out at a site and they bark at every single thing that walks by. People, dogs, whatever. That's one. So they're kind of just reactive at whatever is walking by, or they're just loud and they just want to bark. The next one is barking inside the RV, so where sometimes campgrounds have to call people back, or if they get consistent complaints, sometimes they ask people to leave. We know a lot of times, we're going to link up a video that dogs are barking inside. So a lot of dogs may have separation anxiety. If you watch our channel, you know we've been dealing with this with Bowser. Like I said, we just did a video on this and we'll link it up above. But there are a lot of dogs that are suffering from separation anxiety, and that's something that you definitely need to deal with because the dog is suffering at that point.
A lot of this has to do with, again, either the RVer is not aware or they just don't care. And we've been to Well, when we're in Lancaster, remember we're walking at night, there's a dog that should not be out. I can say this with confidence. Your dog shouldn't be out if it's charging everything that passes the sight. Now, we were walking, it was dark, this dog comes charging at us on a leash and
out of nowhere,
like jerks itself on the leash.
Yeah.
And we're like, why would you have your dog out when everything that passes by this dog's charging? You can't be that blind to it. Some of them just don't care.
I think it was just an arrogance. Like, I just don't care.
Put the dog in the car, put the dog in wherever.
Right. There's ignorance, which you can almost somewhat excuse, but the arrogance of just not caring, that I just don't excuse, because Bowser got pretty scared.
Yeah.
I mean, we got scared. We saw this because it's dark, so this dog comes charging at us. We didn't know it was on leash, and then it slammed it at the end of the leash.
It's not nice for the dog
That's
either.
not good either. Yeah, just kind of be considerate.
Continuing on dogs, and again, this is just blatant disregard for every campground rule. Usually the number one campground rule for pets is your dog not being on a leash. And this has happened to us many times.
Many, many times. Yeah, I mean, actually, the last campground we went to was a KOA, and she specifically said, because she knew we had Bowser with us, your dog can go pretty much wherever, but he has to be on a leash. And I said, thank you so much for saying that, because I think a lot of campground owners, maybe not, they don't enforce it, but obviously park hosts are complaining about it, that it's happening consistently. It's really dangerous for many reasons. Oh, my dog's friendly. Well, maybe my dog isn't. And people go through that. If somebody has a reactive dog or an aggressive dog, they don't want a dog charging at them. And it's just, again, it's just arrogance that, why don't I have to follow the rules? You know, why do I have to follow rules when other people don't, right?
Yeah,
so,
we've had neighbors at RV campgrounds, they get up in the morning, they just let the dog out. Like,
yeah.
This is not your property. And I'm getting like a little heated about it.
I know.
It's just so inconsiderate and so arrogant. And maybe your dog's friendly, but your dog comes over, craps on the other person's campsite. It comes over, maybe your dog is not friendly. Now this other one dog, it makes problems that don't need to be there. It's very simple. Just put your dog on a leash. If you can't get up and walk your dog, then leave your dog at home.
Yeah. Park hosts, again, let us know, how have you handled this? Because I think different campgrounds handle it in different ways. We've heard some people say, you know, I complained and nothing was done.
So the final one we've encountered a few times, not as often, by far the dog leash is the top, but this has happened a couple of times. And this is one that I think people maybe don't realize. You get into groups, alcohol becomes involved, you know,
you're having fun.
People having fun. That's going to be the loud neighbors.
So camp hosts have said this is the number one complaint that they get. And I think a lot of times, again, we're talking about arrogance and ignorance. I think a lot of this is ignorance. And I don't mean that in a negative way, that people just don't realize how loud they are being. A lot of times too, depending on what type of campground you're in, sound carries differently in different places. If it's more dense or it's more open, you can get a lot of echo, and it can travel really far. People don't realize that. They may be having a good time and you know, it's ticking near 10 or 11 o'clock, and they just don't realize.
You remember we're going to go to the pool, and you talked about, now this is the arrogance part. So there was the campground pool, which is a really nice pool. There's people there. Well, there was one family that decided they were going to be the music source for the whole pool, right? Like, and we're talking about like a boom box,
like an
like 1980s street performer, you know what I mean? Like boom box. I'm like, what is? And it was right across from the office.
Right, nothing was said. So
that's arrogance.
Yeah.
Don't be that person, because even if you, like, everybody is looking at you like that person. So again, that's just. It's just common manners.
Right. And here's the problem with videos like this, and I'm going to say it. If we're saying it's arrogance, please don't do that, those people aren't going to listen anyway, right? Maybe you'll reach one person. But
maybe that person with the boombox is like, oh, wow. That was me. Probably not.
Yeah, right. So, well, maybe we can change one. So park hosts, let us know, which ones of these have you gotten? How have you handled them? RVers, let us know, have you made these complaints, and what has come of them? Have camp hosts listen to you? Have campground owners listen to you? Have they not? And how have you handled it if they didn't help?
Also, guys, we have a bunch of travel coming in the near future. So again, make sure to subscribe, notification bells on. If you like videos like this, to the left of us, we'll put our RV newbies playlist. We'll put our RV travel vlogs playlist. And for myself and MJ, it's a journey of a lifetime. And we'll see you on the road.